Stadium into the Madhouse. NASCAR has been racing here in front of Pack Grandstand since 1949. Tonight, modified stars like title contenders Andy Seiss and George Brunholzl are looking to add their names to NASCAR's history books at Bowman Gray. It's the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour, the Strutmasters.com 199 at Bowman Gray Stadium. Hi, everybody. Welcome to NBCSN. I'm Ralph Sheheen alongside Ray Evernham and Derek Perniciglio, who will be joining us soon. Ray, it's called the Madhouse for a good reason.
Oh, Ralph, I am excited. Look at that crowd, and it's a beautiful night for racing. 85 degrees and clear as a bell.
So where exactly is Bowman Gray Stadium? Well, we're nestled right here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. As we told you moments ago, NASCAR's been racing here for years. Just a little bit of an hour outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So let's take a look at the Southern Modified point standings, and they got a good battle on their hands. And as we said, Brunholzl and Seiss right in the middle, chasing Burt Myers.
Oh, yeah, you look up there, and then Myers is not an unfamiliar name at the top of the score. And then Danny Bohn, who's won the last 2 Tour Modified races here, sitting in 4th.
Well, Kyle Ebersol is not amongst the guys battling for the championship here with the Southern Modified Tour, but he's running great this weekend. Our Derek Perniciglio caught up with him on the grid.
Ralph, Kyle Ebersol starts on the pole here tonight at Bowman Gray Stadium. His first ever career pole in the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. And Kyle, did you know you had that good of a lap for the pole when you laid it down in qualifying?
Well, we had a great car in practice, and we made a mock run at the end of practice. And we ran a pretty fast lap. We were 4th quick, I think, and just adjusted on a little bit. And the car was loose, but it turned, and loose was fast here. And couldn't get a pull at a better place. So looking forward to the race.
This is a wild card event. How, besides survival, what else do you have to do to win this race?
Restarts are key here. Everyone's so close, it's so tight. Just got to keep it clean on the restarts, and on a longer run, you're running lap traffic. So just passing guys cleanly, and hoping we all got enough respect for each other out here tonight, have a clean race, and hopefully put her in victory lane.
Well, they already gave the command to fire engines. Kyle Ebersol starts on the pole. It should be a fun night here on NBCSN.
Well, in order for Derek to talk to Kyle Ebersol, he had to lean in over those black bars. They're called Nerf bars on the side of a modified. It's a unique safety feature that is also a unique characteristic to this form of racing. Derek and Ray took a look at it in Loudon earlier this year.
You know, Ray, after looking at all of these cars today, just walking up and down the line here, you see the 2 big Nerf bars on the sides of the modern-day modifieds, but some of the older cars got the little rubber rails on them. What made them go from the single bars to these 2-tier bars?
Well, Derek, as you may remember, in the early 80s, modified racing went through a tough time. We lost several drivers in a row there, and they had to redesign the cars for impact. They felt like the drivers were getting too much of the impact. The cars were getting too close. They were jumping over one another's wheels. So there's a couple reasons for this Nerf bar. It actually adds some side impact protection, but it's really built to keep these open wheel modifieds from jumping over each other's wheels and getting into the air or getting into the wall hard. So another great safety innovation in NASCAR modified racing, because as I said, the 1980s were tough, but they've got these cars really safe right now, and we're still able to run close. And some guys use these Nerf bars to pull other guys out of the way, and I think I'm glad that they've got big ones on them.
Ray, it's a simple design, but it's an effective one.
It really is, and I'm going to tell you, Ralph, you'll see them used tonight, because we're going to see the 3 C's here at Bowman. Competition, contact, and controversy, and it usually involves those Nerf bars.
Yeah, and that's exactly why it's known as a Madhouse, as you're about to see. You saw George Brunholzl and Burt Myers each have 2 wins. Will they separate themselves here tonight? Stay with us. The green flag at the Madhouse coming up. The NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour has been racing here at Bowman Gray Stadium every year since the series' inception back in 2005. And we're ready to do it again here tonight. Field is rolling around the quarter-mile racetrack here.
Yeah, quarter-mile flat track, Ralph. Really hard to get a hold of, and you've got to take care of your tires as well tonight.
Let's find out who we should keep an eye on. Here's Derek.
Ralph, our Who to Watch driver tonight is going to be one of the local heroes here at the Bowman Gray Stadium. He's also a regular on the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. That's the 2010 champion of Dirty South himself, Burt Myers. He's got 6 championships here at the Bowman Gray Stadium, thousands of laps, and almost 100 career wins to his credit. The car that he's driving tonight, believe it or not, is a 1986 Troyer chassis modified. Now, of course, they re-clipped the car a couple of times here and there, but the car has been very good to him and his family. His father won 24 main events in this car, and Burt himself won 65 races here.
Local track knowledge at a place like Bowman Gray, it's invaluable.
Yeah, I probably raced against that car, Ralph, but I'm going to tell you, they added those extra safety changes like we talked about earlier. Even though it's an 86, it's been updated to 2016 rules.
Here's a look at that starting lineup. We already introduced you to Kyle Ebersol. Kyle Bonsignor is going to start on the outside of him, and that's a young driver to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, and then former winner Danny Bone sitting right there, has run really well, already got a win in regular Saturday night competition.
Keep an eye on James Savali back there in the 79 inside of row 6. Watch the flag man, and we're racing at the Madhouse. It can take a while to break free of the side-by-side racing here at this place, that's for sure.
Yeah, Kyle Ebersol talked about the restarts. He got a good one on his initial start right there. Oh, little action. Oh, wow.
Contact early.
Oh, Jason
No
Myers
surprise.
sitting in the infield there.
Yep, the number 4 at Jason Myers out of Walnut Cove, North Carolina, but we stay green.
Jason, one of our favorites, but I think he'll be okay just staying ahead of our leader, Kyle Ebersol. Danny Bone already by the 22 of Bonsignor and putting a little pressure on Kyle Ebersol.
Bone moves into second place. Here's what happened. Watch deeper in the field. Looked like that white car got completely out of sideways. Bertuccio and collected Myers.
Yeah. It doesn't take much there. You know, you're turning off that corner. He came down into, it looked like Jason's right front, just turned him down the infield.
There's Burt Myers in the 1, battling with Trey Hutchins in the 14, and Hutchins gets a little wide.
I think he got a little wide because he got a little help there from the 79 car. Guy shoved him up out of the corner. You know, certainly young Trey Hutchins, third-generation driver here at Bowman Gray Stadium, and he's doing a great job. Really, really good young man. I've worked with his father, Bobby. Bobby, great driver himself.
Absolutely, and a long career at Richard Childress Racing. Let's talk a little bit about Kyle Bonsignor, Derek. He's running good.
You're absolutely right, Ralph. We've been very impressed with the number 22 of Kyle Bonsignor out there. He's a rookie to the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour, and he's doing pretty good so far in the points this year. He's 7th in points. He does have one top 5 to his credit, but he was very fast in practice all day, and he got the outside pole for this main event. He's the cousin of Justin Bonsignor, who runs on the Northern Tour. Kyle Bonsignor runs down here. He lives down here, and he's a Snap-on dealer by trade.
No problem getting the tools he needs.
No, and he's got the tools he's used to adjust that thing. It looks pretty good. Certainly getting a few tips probably from his cousin up north who works with the great Art Berry from the Spirit Point Racing, has provided cars on the NASCAR modified circuit for years.
Kyle Ebersol getting a lot of laps in at the front of this field, and he's actually opening up a couple of car lengths between him and Danny Bone. Are you surprised by that?
I'm not, because I talked to Danny before the start of the race, and he actually said he's going to save his tire. Well, Savali, not saving his right rear too good. Every time you slide your right rear like that, Ralph, it takes a little bit. We used to call out of the tire bank. You know, a slide like that will take 3 or 4 laps right off the life of that tire.
Burt Myers in that black one, a 2-time winner here at Bowman Gray, 2005 and 2007.
Yeah, he knows how to get around this racetrack. As he said, his family's been racing here. Again, descendant of the famous Myers brothers that have just a big part of NASCAR history. But Burt certainly knows how to get around here, and he's not afraid to put a little bit of pressure on guys. Good move right there, driving under the 14 car.
Yeah, that's Bobby Meismer in the 74.
Hey, I'm old and my eyes just aren't as good as they used to be. These cars are going around here fast, Ralph.
Boy, they do. They do.
Young Bobby Meisner doing a good job holding him off, though.
Well, you really have to root the guy up and out of the lane, right? There's not a whole lot on the outside that's going to be the quick way around here.
Well, it looks like, Ralph, you know, those guys put pressure on you, stay in there close, and if you can just drop your left front tire off of that pavement just a little bit, it'll hook that car around, and you've got to get underneath that guy coming off the corner.
How much do you have to worry about cutting a tire down there, Ray?
Well, you know, they've done a great job with the surface of this racetrack, and since there's not a ton of weight on the left front of that part of the corner, they don't seem to cut a lot of them. The biggest problem tonight will be whether or not you want to pit, so you're going to want to be saving your right rear tire. You're not going to want to be wearing that thing out.
Long way to go here at Bowman Gray. Stay with us on NBCSN. Kyle Ebersol, who works at the NASCAR R&D Center as an engineer, is leading the races here tonight at the Strutmasters.com 199. NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour in action at Bowman Gray.
The guy that's chasing him there, Danny Bone, is actually a good friend of his, and Danny keeps a lot of equipment in Kyle's garage. So it looks like maybe Danny's been helping Kyle getting his car going a little bit better.
Another Kyle running well tonight. Kyle Bonsignor in the silver 22 puts the bumper to the 33 of Austin Pickens out of Orlando, Florida. Let's hear about Andy Seiss, Derek.
You know, when Andy Seiss and I talked earlier in the day, he said the car was going to race good. They just needed to get a little more speed out of it. He knew that he wasn't going to have that great of a qualifying run. He started 5th at the drop of the green, but he definitely thinks that the longer he goes, the better his car is going to get.
Andy Seiss is in the black car with the yellow number 11 on the side, and Ray's up inside the top 5.
Yeah, and, you know, this play, we've got a little problem there with James Savali going slow on the looks like the backstretch there. He's heading into the pit area, Ralph.
Yeah, and that spells doom here at Bowman Gray as fast as guys get around here, but he's been running pretty aggressive in that car early on in this race.
Yeah, he really is. You know, but going back to Andy, you know, getting your car out, getting the momentum, as I said, this is a 199 lap race, I'm sorry, but got a lot of time to make it up, but he's going to have to be careful on the restarts here if his car won't get going quickly. Oh,
and the caution is out. Jeremy Gersner. Issues with the 15 up along the wall. And when you get up along the wall here, you're basically in the laps of the fans because they are right on top of this racetrack.
Yeah, he's got some damage there. I'm thinking that's going to end his night. You know, you can see the right front suspension damage there. So he's made pretty good contact with guardrail.
Let's take a look at the replay. On the outside and up and over the tire.
Wow, just what we were talking about, the reason for those Nerf bars being there. He did get over the right front of, looks like the 33 there. Oh, no, it's the 70. Gets over the right front of that with his left front. But as you can see, it did not shoot the car far up in the air because that Nerf bar was there to catch it.
That's Sean Beluzzo in that number 70 out of Newport News, Virginia. Looks like next time by, we're going back to green.
And let's see what happens on this restart. This is one of the things that Kyle Ebersol talked about. Going to have to be careful on these restarts.
And it's a good look. You can see how close the grandstands are. They're elevated above the racetrack, but boy, you are right on top of the action here.
Yeah, they say if somebody doesn't like you in the grandstands, you can actually hear them yelling at you going by, Ralph.
No doubt about it. Here comes that green flag.
Oh, we got
contact
trouble.
coming off of 4, and we're stacking them up right there.
Georgie Brunholz, one of our favorites.
Yep, that's the 28 car involved in it, the 97. Brian Doza, the 33 is tied up in here. Austin Pickens.
Looks like Gary Putnam backed up against the guardrail as well, Ralph.
Yep, that's the blue 77.
Tell you what, Brunholz's car's got some damage. The way that wheel's bent, I would say his night is over as well.
There's Putnam's car.
Again, these restarts are so tricky. When they angle off that corner, Ralph, there is just not a lot of room. And as you can see, you talk about the grandstand being close. Right there alongside Brunholz's car, that wall actually comes back out at the guys on the racetrack and takes a foot or so away from the racing lane.
It's all part of the unique characteristics of this facility. Watch it again. About row 5. Oh, it actually starts earlier and collects cars all the way back to row 5.
Again, these open wheel cars side by side on a restart like that does not take much. Well, a little touch. So it actually looks like Kyle Bonsignore got a little bit loose on that restart, tried to stop his car from spinning out, turned right, and got into the 28 of Georgie Brunholz.
Yeah, and it looked like J.R. Bertuccio in the 2 car also got up in the air a little bit, but kept motoring on.
Looks like Georgie may be favoring shoulder there.
Yeah, kind of holding it up a little bit gingerly. Well, we will be right back for more of the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour on NBCSN. Bowman Gray Stadium used to be the home to Wake Forest Demon Deacon football. Now it's Winston-Salem State that plays here. But on race nights, it's the Modifieds that are the stars. And we got things underway early. Jason Myers spinning into the infield, and Jeremy Gerstner hard into the wall over in turn 3.
Yeah, and these restarts have been critical tonight, Ralph. As you can see, the guys have been getting into one another when they throw that green flag.
Big advantage to be on the inside on the restart.
It really is, because as I said, that guardrail comes off. It comes out at you as you're coming off of turn 4. So a little bit, if the guy on the inside doesn't give you enough room, you're going to be using that Nerf bar in a bad way.
Kyle Ebersol started on the pole in his number 5, and he's led all the laps so far. Here we go.
Another good restart holding off Danny Bone there. You know, I know that people get on me for talking about the spec motor versus the open motor a good bit, but Kyle has open motor, Danny has a spec motor, and I don't think it's any secret that the open motor will accelerate a little bit faster. The spec motor seems to be a little bit better on the long run.
Bone got a little wide there, and I thought Burt Myers in that black number 1 was going to slide through, but he's not able to do it.
Seems to take Danny Bone's car a lap or 2 to get running, and then it starts to turn. When I talked to Danny, he said he and his dad work really hard there as he goes under Kyle Ebersol. Work really hard on the time, cutting down the time between brake and gas as he makes the pass for the lead. Meaning when he goes to that brake, he wants to get off of that brake and as quick on that gas as he can right in the center of the corner.
Danny Bone has a Dunleavy's truck and trailer repair machine out front now here at Bowman Gray. Still a significant distance to complete here with this race scheduled for 199 laps. Battle for 5th, Jason Myers and Andy Seiss in that black 11, and hammering him from behind is Bertuccio.
Tight quarters at Bowman Gray. Those tight quarters sometimes make for high temperatures and high tempers.
Well, it has definitely earned the nickname the Madhouse. It wasn't just given to it. It was earned, no doubt about it.
Ralph, it still amazes me how fast these guys can go around this flat quarter-mile racetrack that's basically around a football field. You know, I would guess they're probably doing the 1 second 40, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And keep an eye on Myers here in the 4. As you saw, he had fallen all the way back to 12th, and Ray, he's worked his way up here now. Jason running in 4th position.
Oh, without a doubt. And, you know, the Myers is one of the winningest names, certainly on the Southern Modified Racing period. And Jason knows how to get around Bowman Gray Stadium as well as anybody. And as I said, he went to the rear of the field. He's come back, worked his way up through. As you see, his car really works the bottom good, turns good, drives off, and that's what you need to pass.
He's running one of those LFR chassis, which came storming onto the scene last year.
There's still plenty of time for him to get back up there. You know, over 120 laps left in this event.
Keeping an eye on Danny Bone leading here in the number 40. Ebersol still right behind him. Burt Myers in the number 1. Taking his time now. Right now it seems like Myers is patient, maybe letting those tires cool down a little bit.
Yeah, I think the guys will get in a rhythm. They know that I don't think our leaders are planning on pitting when we have that competition caution around lap 139. They're trying to save right rear. They're actually in good momentum. But that doesn't mean that Bert's not. Bert may be going to put a little pressure on Kyle Ebersol there. He's giving him the Morse code with that bumper, ... I'm still here, buddy.
Is it ... hammer?
I'm not sure. He's just letting him know that I am here.
Danny Bone is our next-gen driver tonight.
Hi, I'm Danny Bone, driver of the Dunleavy's Truck and Trailer, William Smith Trucking, Autos by Nelson, Bilstein Shocks, number 40 for Fleming Family Racing. My grandfather raced at Wall Stadium in the 50s, my dad in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and I grew up racing a family number, family car, and you know, to be hooked up with the Fleming family, it's awesome. They're a great bunch of people. They've been around modified racing in the South forever, and one of the things I like about racing on the Southern Tour is we get to go to different racetracks. Some people just race weekly at the same racetrack, but we're allowed to venture out and go race at other racetracks. And my goal is on the tour, to get some wins for the Flemings. A championship would be awesome. It's been something that's been on my bucket list to do. I'm Danny Bone, and that's your NASCAR Next Gen profile.
He's not only our race leader, he's the 2012 Rookie of the Year on the tour, and maybe more importantly tonight, he's a back-to-back and defending race winner here at Bowman Gray.
Yeah, Danny does a good job, and it is really neat. The Bone family has a lot of tradition in the North, Fleming family, a lot of tradition certainly in the South. And Eddie Bone, Danny's dad, has won Mechanic of the Year on the Southern Modified Tour as well. Good mechanic, and has two other sons that race. Michael Bone, who is a winner at Bowman, and Andrew Bone, who runs dirt up north. So Eddie, the proud papa of 3 racing sons.
Well, so far this season, he hasn't seen victory lane. Maybe he'll do it here tonight.
Got a couple of poles in the series with this Fleming car, but not been able to, as you said, Ralph, just crack that checkered flag.
Keeping an eye on the 4 car there at Myers. Stuck right in the middle there with Seiss and Bonsignor.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's kind of closed up on Danny right now. Don't know if he's just saving his tires, but those guys are starting to put a pressure on, and we'll start to see some guys getting impatient here.
Well, as you mentioned, that caution coming up, which will open up the pits if anybody wants to venture in there. What do you think you would do?
It really would depend on track position or how my car is. If I'm up there in that top 5 or 7, I don't think I'm coming, Ralph. If I'm outside, if I'm 8th on back, I might need to make some adjustments and get some fresh rubber on that car. One of the things these modifieds can do, you're not only allowed to put 1 tire on, but you can move one to another position if you want to move your left front to your left rear or something like that. So you can make adjustments. It's a 3-minute timed pit stop. You are lined back up on how you come out. But if my car's running like anybody in the top 5 or 7 right now, I think I'm staying out.
See some glowing red brake rotors here too, Ray.
Yeah, I was looking at that on the 22 car there with Bonsignor. I think that his car may not be really as good as the other cars as far as center corner handling, and that may cost him at the end there. He's probably going to start to get some shots in the bunker there from Jason Myers as we go on. I'll tell you, I'm watching Burt Myers' car. You see his rotor's glowing as well, but his car seems pretty smooth and under control, Ralph. That may be, one of the better cars on the racetrack right now.
Sean Beluzzo's is not. That's the 70 rolling around on the inside, and that's going to break the pack up a little bit as they all pick their way past. Ebersol and Burt Myers continue to squabble over second. A competition caution scheduled to come out around lap 140.
As you can see, Bert's still using that Morris code on the back of Kyle Ebersol's car, letting him know, hey, man, I am just a little bit faster, and there's going to be a time here that probably after this caution that we're all going to have to get going. You hear somebody on the rev chip there turning the motors pretty hard, Ralph. That actually helps sometimes time you getting into the corner.
This place really becomes a rhythm racetrack, doesn't it?
It really does, and that helps save tires, save brakes, getting that momentum.
Ebersol able to protect the bottom for now. Again, I think maybe some of these drivers waiting for this competition caution, figuring we'll start turning it up intensity-wise in this final run to lap 199. There it is.
There it is, yeah. So let's see who pits here, Ralph. But I would be surprised, certainly, if anybody in the top 5 comes in, because those cars all looked pretty equally matched.
Well, so far, Danny Bone, once he got out front, has been pretty tough in that black number 40. See if he can keep them all behind them on the way to the checkers when we return. With the competition caution, teams are given the opportunity to pit here at the Strutmasters.com 199. But Ray, all the top cars stayed out.
Yeah, they didn't pit. Oh, it looked like Danny Bone dropped his left rear off a little bit on the infield there. Ralph didn't get a good start.
Ebersol had the shot at him, and I don't think he's going to get it done. Could get aggressive here in the corners.
Oh, a little Nerf bar action there. Oh, those guys are good friends. I wonder how good of friends they are.
Oh, contact! Ebersol, hang on.
Well, okay, Danny gave him a little break right there, and again, and Kyle makes the pass, clears him. Danny's like, I'm not happy about that. But he's thinking, hey, wait a minute, all my stuff's in Kyle's garage.
That's right. But he's definitely pushing on him for now. He's got 40 or so laps to get it back.
Oh, and the guy sitting back there smiling, Burt Myers.
Oh, yeah. Burt Myers, a 2-time winner this year.
Burt giving him a little bit extra room, thinking that maybe these guys are going to have a little trouble with one another, and he wants to be clear of it.
Well, Burt's got to get going, too, because Jason Myers has caught him.
Do you think brother would use bumper on brother?
Absolutely. Bonsignor gets pushed wide in the 22. That's going to cost him.
Yeah, and Gary Putton, one of the guys that pitted right there.
Derek, how about those 2 top cars?
Oh, boy, Ralph, there's a lot of action going on down here on pit road. The number 5 and the number 40 crews are jumping up and down and hooting and screaming at the 2 cars battling out there. They're going at it back and forth, hitting each other, trying to move each other out of the way. But the ironic part is Kyle Ebersol and Danny Bone are actually really good friends.
Well, as you said, Ray, they are good buddies.
Yeah, and the Myers are brothers. Bumper,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, that's all a part of what makes racing here at the Madhouse so interesting. And a slow car to the infield. Is that Bertuccio?
Yeah, it looked like the 2-car Bertuccio.
And that's going to bring out a caution.
Wow, so another restart here, but we talked about how critical they were, and it actually looked like Danny Bone on that restart got in a little speedy dryer, got something that dropped the left rear off a little bit, maybe trying to give Kyle a little extra room.
Not sure what the problem is with the Gershow recycling number 2, but it looks like Bertuccio's headed to the pits.
So another restart, and I'd be willing to bet that Danny Bone's going to be a little bit more aggressive on this one, because he's going to have to get that lead back with Burt Myers sitting right there.
Well, fans are on their feet here. They know restarts tend to lead to contact. And with 38 laps to go, these restarts are getting more and more critical.
Oh, now both Myers brothers putting pressure. The second row.
Here we go. Back to racing. Oh, contact coming off the corner and into the wall go our top 2 cars.
Wow.
And
Ralph, how many times have we seen the top 2 fastest cars on the racetrack take themselves out of competition? Wow.
Wonder if that ends the friendship.
I'll tell you what, it's going to test it for sure. Not sure what happened there, but it looked like Kyle maybe thought he was clear of Danny's car and moved up the racetrack.
Well, they both knew how important this was. Ebersol got hooked and got sent into the infield. He might continue on. He was moving up, wasn't he?
Wow, yeah. Just it was not clear of the 40 car, and just moved up into him and put Bone's car up into the wall and turned himself into the infield. Yeah.
He was aiming right for our camera.
Yeah. Wow. Tough break, something those guys are going to have to talk about.
Yeah, and Danny Bone just had nowhere to go. He just got squeezed up there.
You know, again, the track being that narrow, these cars being that wide, you're doing everything you can do, and I'm sure that's not anything that Kyle did intentionally at all.
Now, from that, how you sit in the car, certainly hard to tell exactly when you are clear. Well, let's hear from Danny Bone. Derek has caught up with him.
Well, Ralph, Danny Bone's day ends early. Unfortunately, he was running in the second spot at the time of the incident. Can you tell us what happened from your point of view?
He run me in the wall. I mean, you know, I got loose on that initial start, and he come across the nose, and I don't know what he's doing. I mean, he just acted like I was never there on the outside, run me in the wall. The restart before that, he come across the nose like I was never there. I mean, we could have finished 1-2, no problem. He might have been able to win. I had a good car. I mean, that's the way he wants to race, I guess. Got to thank my sponsors and Fleming Family Racing for the opportunity. It would have been 3 in a row.
Well, unfortunately, Danny Bone's day is out early. His chances of winning 3 races here on the tour is over.
Well, it sounds like that friendship is a little strained right now.
Ralph, you know, sports is about emotion. You know, you can see Danny sweating, going. They'll think about it, talk about it, you know, and again, I don't think there's anything Kyle did intentionally.
Well, we'll be back for the run to the checkers here at the Madhouse. It has been a wild night so far with the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. Strutmasters.com 199, ready to go green, and the Myers brothers lead the field into turn 1.
Well, and Burt underneath Jason there. Jason a little bit wide. Those guys wheel to wheel. It's incredible they can run wheel to wheel around this flat quarter mile.
Andy Seiss trying to put the pressure on in the black 11 from 3rd.
Jason gets to the bottom. He'll follow Burt. Burt's car drives off pretty good. As I said, we were watching that thing go around there before, and I thought, that car's better than a 3rd place car.
Ebersol is still in the race in the top 5.
He may have a little bit of damage there as a little wide. His car just looks like it's moving around quite a bit now, Ralph.
So it looks like Burt Myers has about a car length on his brother.
Young Bobby Meisner riding there in 5th place. Be a nice finish for that young man if he can complete that.
Meisner in the 74. Powerhouse Recycling backed entry. Whoa! Kyle Ebersol. He slid it all the way around that series of corners, didn't he?
He might have had a little bit of help getting in there. Meisner getting plenty of experience. You got him again. But, you know, and here comes Gary Putnam. Gary's one of the cars that pitted.
Putnam has felt like he's had a pretty good car here all day.
Veteran NASCAR mechanic, currently the shop foreman for the #1 car of Chip Ganassi, driven by Jamie McMurray.
He was 11th in this race a year ago, and you look at the damage to the front bars.
Yeah, you've got to use those, I think, a little bit. He's been involved in a couple of incidents, but having a good run. Former chief mechanic and winner of the Daytona 500, actually, right there.
Got the Curb records backing on that car. Mike Curb, of course, been a huge supporter of racing over the years. You can see some dirt kicked up on the exit of that corner too, Ray. No surprise. They do actually play football in this stadium, so the racing season here is a little bit shorter than it is at a lot of tracks because, hey, there's games coming.
It is, and you know, this track has always put tons of great race fans in the stands here in the South, and it really is an incredible place to go and watch a race. It's always exciting every time I come here, Ralph.
Down inside the final 20 laps. Kyle Bonsignor is out in the 22. Derek, what can you tell us?
Ralph, Kyle Bonsignor finds himself out early. He had a really strong top 5 run going in the 4th spot, but Kyle, we heard the car was overheating. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, we tried everything. I tried running out of the groove under caution at from like lap 75 to lap 130. The water was pegged. It was probably about 270, 280. And we've only got one motor, so it's not worth it for us to want to run Bristol in a week and a half. So it stinks because we had a really good run going forth and we were just riding. But I guess that's just the way it is. First time we've run here, so we learned something about cooling the radiator off.
It's a really hot day out today. How hard is it to keep these engines cool?
It's extremely hard. We were running warm in practice, but it was also 95 degrees. I don't know if it's like 80 now, whatever it is, but I mean, it's still hot. So it stinks. I hate it for our team. We almost had the pole, fastest car in practice, but I guess that's just the brakes.
Kyle Bonsignore's day ends early, guys.
High heat, high humidity. Welcome to summertime in the Southeast.
Yeah, Ralph, and that is something, again, the guys that run there every week know, and the biggest problem around that place is you look at those grandstands, and that stops a lot of the air circulation. He'll face a little bit of that problem going to Bristol, so hopefully they've learned how to fix it.
Yeah, you are in a bowl when you're down on the racetrack. There's no doubt about it.
We watched Burt Myers, Jason Myers, and Andy Seiss there have kind of given each other a little bit of room and seem to be in that rhythm. Right now, it doesn't look like Jason or Andy have anything for Burt.
Burt Myers, the 2010 NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour champion, currently leads the points again this year, looking to get his 19th career victory on the tour tonight.
And as we watched, we saw that steering wheel shot, Ralph. It's not easy to go around there. He's working that wheel all the way around the racetrack.
And a little different paint scheme than what we're used to with him, too. Used to that white, black, and red that we saw in our NBCSN coverage last year with the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour.
Well, there's been a lot of success down here by another guy with a black car, so maybe that's working for him.
Yeah, and the Myers brothers had a little something to do with that program, too, didn't they?
They sure did.
Chocolate Myers, of course, a longtime gas man for the legendary Dale Earnhardt Sr. And the Myers brothers, Rhea, we've said it throughout the course of this show, but you cannot add up the value of that local track knowledge when it comes to this place.
No, and those guys, as I said, their uncles, their father, and now them, hundreds of main event wins collectively throughout the family, and a lot of those right there at Bowman Gray.
Andy Seiss, the defending and back-to-back champion of the tour, running in third. The shot at the championship this year. Certainly a title contender and in the points hunt. He'd love to have that win here tonight. It would be his 23rd career win if he could pull it off and get in front of the Myers brothers with just 5 to go.
5 to go, doesn't seem to be any pressure. They are coming up on a lap car, so if Jason's going to have a shot at Burt, this lap car may play a little bit into that picture.
Let's see what they do here. Usually you would go around the outside.
And maybe Jason, if he goes around the outside, Jason may be able to sneak to the bottom. He might have to Nerf bar his brother a little bit. No, both of them clear.
Yeah, it's Brian Doza. He hugs way down to the inside, and Burt is able to open up a couple of car lengths getting around it.
Well, Burt, about to prove that you don't always have to be the fastest car. You've just got to be patient and ready when the fastest car drops the ball, Ralph.
White flag is out. One more lap to go here at the Madhouse. Burt Myers on his way to another win, and it comes here at the legendary Bowman Gray Stadium. Checkered flag waves.
And that's certainly going to help him pad his point lead.
Well, it's definitely survival of the fittest here tonight. The carnage is scattered throughout the pit area, but Myers is taking a vintage chassis to victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. That's another. So his father won in it. He's won in it. Pretty neat, Ralph.
And we'll talk to him when we come back to Winston-Salem. Stay with us. Pawnee Flock won the first ever NASCAR sanctioned race here at Bowman Gray Stadium. That was May 18th, 1949. Tonight, it's Burt Myers who's in victory lane. Derek Perniciglio is there to chat with him about this victory.
Well, here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Madhouse himself, Burt Myers, 6-time track champion here at the Bowman Gray Stadium. And did you know it's been 9 years since you won a tour race here?
It's been a while, hasn't it? I think me and Jason won the first 3. Love you, Daddy. It's been a while. This is the first year that I haven't run this. We talked about this. This is the first full season at Bowman Gray that I haven't run this car since 1998. We dusted the cobwebs off. Man, old Hesse pulled through for me. If you can imagine Bert being speechless, but Derek, this is our home turf. And even though the 5 and the 40 crashed, we had better cars than they do. We was just trying to bide our time, but man, this is awesome.
Do you think you could have been able to get past Kyle and Danny if they hadn't taken each other out?
Well, I'm not going to say no. I was better than both of them, but at Bowman Gray, track position is key, and some of them that pit made their way back up, and I didn't know where we stood because I hadn't had a chance to run out front. So when I got out front and saw my brother behind me, and I started pushing it a little bit, and he was right there with me, and I was getting a little worried, but our goal at Myers Racing is to come home 1-2. So to do it in a race in front of these fans at our home track for the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour, this is what we dream of.
In a 1986 Troyer chassis, Burt Myers wins here tonight at the Madhouse.
Ray, 30 years old, that car.
Like a fine wine, Ralph. It's just getting better.
It ain't going anywhere, and it's not going to gather too many cobwebs, I wouldn't think, much longer after this. There's your top 10 results. Ebersol starts on the pole, led a lot of laps, ends up 10.
Yeah, Trey Hutchins with a top 10. Congratulations, Trey.
And Danny Bone will finish in 11th. Let's hear from the other half of the Myers pair. Here's Jason with Derek.
Well, Ralph, Burt Myers said in his interview their goal is for Myers Brothers Racing to finish 1-2, but do you wish it would have been reversed for